Now, Julius Malema, with all your social presence, all your campaigns, all your big mass gatherings, what exactly could have gone wrong for the EFF?
Do you see yourselves overtaking the DA then?
We see ourselves overtaking the ANC, not the DA. The DA is small boys. We have no time for small boys. We are going for the real giant.
Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pemi T and you're always welcome to stop by. So today I'd like us to take a moment just to check exactly what happened with Julius Malema and the EFF that could have resulted in him not performing as well as most of us expected him to perform. So we can all agree that Julius Malema had a good pre-election run. His campaigns were well attended. His presence was felt. People were there to listen to exactly what the EFF has to offer. But as they listened, there must have been something that they were not satisfied with. There must have been something that was not really hooking or convincing them. If not, he would have performed a whole lot better than what he currently did. In this video, I'd like us to take a look at two factors, only two, which I feel didn't work to Julius Malema's benefit. Now, point number one is a very common fact. It's the fact that South Africa went out for the national elections on the 29th of May. The South African national elections. Now, the people that were voting in that election were South African nationals. Now, how do you expect South African nationals to go out to an election? The word election meaning elect. To elect is to choose. So South Africans going out to choose who they would like to run the country or to run a certain province for them. Now, the only thing that you need there is to convince South Africans to vote for you. You want South Africans to trust you with making decisions that will benefit its people. You want South Africans to trust you to be a voice that will represent them when it comes to economic matters, when it comes to safety and security, when it comes to healthcare issues, when it comes to education, when it comes to so many factors. You become the representative of South Africans. So whether you are carrying internal South African matters or representing South Africa externally, you are the face and you are South Africa's main brand. So when it comes to South African national elections, your job as a candidate is to please South Africans. Now, you cannot please a nation if you are going against what they want.
So, president, I must be a president of thugs, of criminals who beat up people.
Today, South Africa sits as a country that has a record of being a very xenophobic nation. Now, I wouldn't mind going into reasons why South Africa is seen as a xenophobic country. What did South African civilians do that ended up putting South Africa as a xenophobic country?
We were divided by the Boers who imposed borders on us. We never said we want borders. These borders were imposed on us by the colonizers. We are one people. The problems of Zimbabwe are our problems. We must help to solve the problem of Zimbabwe. So fighters, let us not be too local. Let us be international. We are existing in a globe. We do not exist in isolation. Aretsebe matata alefase kamoga because atoma wanakwa before you know it asheja fitlemo South Africa. Let us stop xenophobia. Let us stop self-hate.
Now hold up. Before we lose track and start speaking about xenophobia and South Africans and non-South Africans, let's stick to what we are here for. Now, from what I've just recently said, and from the publicity that South Africa has recently got with regards to xenophobia, That alone shows that this is not the right time for a political party to be pushing Pan-Africanism into South African people. Not because South Africans don't like or appreciate their fellow Africans, but because South Africans still need to get their house cleaned up. For me, that's the number one pointer of why Julius Malema lost a couple of exes. The open up borders conversation was not made at the right time to the right audience. Now, the second pointer is one that made me ever so proud of South Africans. This one definitely deserves a round of applause to all South Africans, because I thought a whole lot of South Africans were going to fall for this one. This one is one that really had me curious with the performance of the EFF. South Africans, yabona kulena, you really made me proud. Now, when it comes to social grants,
After my inauguration, I will immediately increase social grants for all grandparents to more than 4,000 per month. After my inauguration, I will increase the child support grant to 1,200 per month.
so Mr. Malema promised that almost all social grants would be increased. Not only would they be increased, but they'd be increased by almost double or more than double of what the people are currently getting. So be it the elderly's grant, be it the kids maintenance grant, be it, which other grant? The matric grant. You know, there's this 350 social grant as well. So apparently he said that people that were under matric or didn't have a matric certificate would still continue getting that 350. People that had a matric were going to get 2,000 rands. People that had their first degree were going to get 5,000 rands. People that had their honors were going to get 6,000 rands. So the more qualifications you had, the more your social grant would increase. That is if you were unemployed. So as a graduate, there are two things that were waiting in the list for you after Julius Malema's inauguration. It was whether you were given a job. If you didn't have a job, then you would have these social grants. And these social grants were amounts that were quite okay. I mean, considering that at the current moment, everyone who is unemployed, well, I don't really know what the qualification criteria is for the 350s, but as far as I know, it's for South Africans that are currently unemployed. So everyone is just on that 350 that was recently taken up by 20 rands to 370. So as far as Ramaphosa is concerned, South Africans are more content with the 750. But Julius Malema had said that social grants, which are currently sitting at 350, would be allocated according to your qualification. So in my mind, I'm like, how practical is it? And this was a line that I thought would hook many South Africans, because South Africans really, we are struggling with employment. We are struggling with a whole lot of things. And someone offering those type of figures as a social grant, as an unemployment grant, or whatever it's called. Now, the reason that I say I'm proud of South Africans not falling for that social grant promises is because I feel that if Julius Malema was elected into some kind of seat, whether it was a province or whether it was South Africa, okay, let's say whether it was a province, and then people of that province would now have expectations that after Julius Malema's inauguration, he is going to deliver as he promised. What I fear is that that was going to put pressure on his political party. That was going to put pressure on him, and that was going to put pressure on his ministers. Because now the people would be expecting him to deliver. Now the pensioners' social grant alone was going to be 4,000 rands each elderly. That's a lot of money. That is each elderly. And all these other grants that he had promised. How practical would it be for him to immediately implement such a move? I feel like that was going to give him a knock to his political party, a knock to a record that he has worked so hard for. Because when it comes to speaking, and when it comes to making promises, and when it comes to implementing, those things are very, very different. And those things are what make political party leaders lose their respect with the promises that they make and then later fail to fill. So there I am super proud of South Africans for not falling for that one.